well, I wanted to have a website at the end of the 90s because I thought that was the thing to do. And a good friend of mine was a techie and knew how to design them, and I wanted it to look really cool. He designed something really cool for me to put my books and articles up, basically. And so when I would write something, I would then send it to him, and he would post it. Until he got really irritated by that, because he had other things to do. So he said, look, here's a program called Blogger. It's quite easy. I'll set it up. And you can then do it yourself. So that was in the summer of 2000. And then it slowly evolved from there. I realized, wow, I can reach readers without any of the normal channels or authority. And I went on C-SPAN and had them put my URL underneath me and got my first few hundred readers. And then you just do that for 12 years, and you get a blog like The Dish. So that's how it started. It started completely serendipitously and by accident, out of some vague idea of what I wanted to do, and then it taught me the rest. No, I'd never get... Well, I once tried to keep a journal, and then I just realized after keeping a journal that it was depressing the hell out of me, because I was actually, when I was writing that journal, very depressed. Actually going over my days when I felt that miserable as a teenager was not helping, so I stopped. So I never really kept a journal or a diary. I did write a lot of bad poetry in a journal of sorts. And I did have a sketchbook. I did a lot of painting, and I would draw my own fantasy men. Even when I had my own scrapbook in which I would literally draw these guys that I was a kid, but they all looked a little like my current husband, actually. They certainly all had masses of body hair and beards and burly older dudes and daddies and brrr. And those are what I drew until one day this little sketchbook, which was under my mattress, disappeared completely, and I certainly never asked where it went, and no one seemed to want to know who'd done it. So this may be the first time, if my parents watch this, and they do, I think, damn, I've let the cat out of the bag. But I never really wrote a journal. Just bad poetry, bad homoerotic sketches, and some kind of perfectly decent painting, like a landscape painting, which I used to do. But no, I've always been more of a public writer. I used to write letters in the old days when you wrote letters. But that, of course, died out pretty quickly.